should be good to go, I guess. I don't know why I was putting it on mute without my consent, but it is what it is, I guess.
Hey, Elias, did you figure out a better microphone over there?
Better microphone you mean talking about the headphones? No, I still have yet to find a good set of headphones with a good microphone. I haven't really tried that.
Are you on
What's that?
speakerphone?
I'm on speakerphone as usual anymore.
Oh, sure. All right. Well, it works.
Yep. I haven't really invested time or thought into that much. Actually, my new line of thought and energy is hunting. I'm doing some stuff with my employer, and we're thinking about going hunting sometime over the winter with some compound boys.
Cool.
So I just got some hunting gear and got to figure out. I've got some compound bows that a friend gave me, but I got to figure out how to change the draw strength and all that because the one I can pull fairly easily, but the nicer one, I like. If I really put everything I have into it, I can pull it back, but I literally could not shoot that thing otherwise. It wouldn't be plausible to try to shoot a deer with it. That's for sure. I know the guy who had him, he was a beast of a man, so I understand why the draw is so hard. So.
All right.
All right, so this time this might be my last time utilizing the snipping tool, and I probably will just use Wondershare Demo Creator from now on. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's kind of annoying that snipping tool would do such strange. Alright. So the other thing I have to keep doing is deleting any excess videos that any videos that I do, I have to put it on my external hard drive, which is a couple terabytes, and then from there I just have to keep it on there until I upload everything. But for whatever reason, the snipping tool causes the amount of gigabytes that each video is to be insanely high, which is like, whoa. Yeah, it's a little. So now I just got to figure out how many gigabytes is left on my external hard drive. I'm probably going to end up buying a several terabyte at some point. But
yeah, they make big hard drives.
Hopefully that other one is loading.
Yeah, they make 1 terabyte SD cards now.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I have no idea that they made something that big for
it's like insane. And now like external hard drives, now the things that they make now are like 4 or 5 terabytes. I'm going.
Oh my word.
And they're only like $99, $120.
That is not bad at all.
No kidding.
Yeah. Technology just keeps getting better. I love it.
So eventually,
I don't have any 1 terabyte SD cards yet, but yeah, that's cool.
I know my mom just got one of the foldable flip Samsung smartphones.
Oh,
Samsung,
you said?
The ones that are the smartphone that folds in half.
From Samsung, you said.
Yeah, a Samsung.
Oh.
So apparently, I still have 1.81 terabytes left on my external hard drive, which is pretty pretty good, despite
Yeah.
all the downloaded videos I have, and it's like I have several seasons of Digimon and Power Rangers and Avatar: The Last Airbender all on my.
Well, now we know where all that storage is gone.
Well, no, so those aren't on my computer. Those have been on my solid state hard drive for over 10 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but eventually I
What do
need
you
to
have?
get a new one, so I have backups just in case. Backups on the backups. They're some of my favorite TV shows, so yeah.
You definitely must be. Your favorite TV shows, and I've never even heard of them hardly, much less watched them.
Well, we can if you guys are up for watching them at some point, that can be.
That'd be interesting to see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it can be some of our
movie nights,
movie or TV show nights.
Yeah.
Because with Digimon, I actually have all of the original dub downloaded, as well as all of the original Japanese downloaded, so we can compare and contrast the two. So like each episode that we watch, we were just like, we'd watch the English and then we'd watch the Japanese.
I didn't think you sounded like a frog, Esther. You sounded fine.
So, are you guys able to still utilize the sounds that I uploaded, or?
I'm trying to find out where any of the sounds are at this point. Since the update, I can't figure out how to get to them. Because everything.
Who are you? I don't know who you are.
Somebody can.
Yeah. I can. Come on, right?
Okay,
Where are
Alan's
they?
still able to use it.
Yeah, I can't even find them. All this stuff is like reverted because my normal swipe up to get to any of this audio settings now goes directly to the chat.
Hmm.
So I'm trying.
So you have something with your phone you can't figure out. Then.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, so it's available. So the ones that uploaded to the server
channel
are
settings.
available.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Channel settings.
Avocados from Mexico.
Who are you? I don't know who you are.
They work for me. Well, okay. So I put in the chat that I sound like a frog, but apparently it's only occasionally. If I get the stuff out of my throat, then I'll sound better. So we shall see how this goes.
Okay.
Somehow, after last week's Bible study, I got a sore throat, and yeah, so I've been dealing with that all week.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Wearing masks.
Sounds like everybody's getting something.
Yeah, that's because we weren't wearing masks during meetup.
You're saying I contracted it from one of you all through video? What?
Are they serious?
And that's the only way it makes sense.
Did they really say that?
Who's they?
Esther. Did they really say that?
I said that.
Elias did, yes.
I don't even know. Did you say it or did I say? I don't even know. Did I say it?
I said I was messing around. I was in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. I was about to
say maybe I said it. I didn't even. When he said who said it, I thought, did I say it? I don't even know. I could have said it. You get it from us.
You wouldn't know.
Bible study, we gave it to you. You know, we got to do better at our Bible study.
I was about to say, if a professional doctor actually said, "Oh, you could contract it from the internet," I would be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, I need a doctor. Give me your license.
Like, you're a whack, man.
Okay, where? So I found the voice settings, but I haven't found the audio effects.
It's the sound box.
Yeah, I can't find the sound. I'm trying to find the sound box. That's my problem.
All right. Well, we can't start the Bible study until you find your sound box. So you better search fast. Because it seems like we can get started here pretty soon. Doesn't it?
Where is the sound box? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I bet you phones are pretty easy. You just keep moving your finger around and swipe, and eventually you find it. Something like that. Some button. Sometimes you miss them, though. I know. Sometimes you miss the button. Because
I
like
know
I'll go
I'll
to
find it
chat.
eventually.
Maybe you gotta go to chat first, and then there's a button that'll say like revert to something else, or maybe it's not in the chat. I don't know. I'm not on my phone, but it is frustrating when I can't find the thing on my phone. I'm just glad I've got my computer here with
Alright.
my.
Yeah, they put an update on it,
The only
and
sound I really want. That one. That's a good.
Okay, so the video is uploading. Yay. And I made it so only people who have the link can see it. Is that how you did it before, Timothy?
Yep. I had to think of
Okay.
what you were doing.
I figured that's
And you put the
Yep.
name as the date the study was, right?
Yeah, I did.
RHB. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, RH.
Or R
No.
RGB
RBHG.
GH.
So
It's
it
a tongue
worked,
twister.
Esther, huh?
It's a
It
tongue
worked?
twister of a anagram.
Yes, isn't it though? Yeah, and I
So when
also
Esther
did
did
like
it, it worked.
November 21st. Huh?
Your recording, it worked.
And sorry, it will not be horizontal. Yes, it did work. And there's audio on it and everything. Wow. Look at me go.
Well, look at you go, because we got our
This will be one
resident
of the
technology genius, and he can't even figure out how to get a recording up there with everything working. So you did. So, and you don't even know how many terabytes are in a whatever, right? So
Yeah, no, I don't.
you figured out a recording. So how about that? Well, anyway,
Well, hey, this
hopefully
is
it's
going to be
useful to
like
someone.
the easiest. Yeah, this will be the easiest YouTube video I've ever posted because usually when I'm posting YouTube videos, I have to edit them and add music and all that stuff, and it just takes forever. And it's bleh, I don't like it, but kind of got to do it for my business. So
Oh, right. Does it your business have something to do with Lila Rose? Do I remember seeing that on your thing? Lila Rose
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
So you
Yep,
know
Lila
Lila
Rose
Rose?
hair accessories.
Lila Rose.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, she's like a big time celebrity kind of a person. I know that. I didn't know how to say her name, but I did know who she is. It's like pro life something,
Well,
right? Like,
so her name is Lila, but the company that I work for is Lila. It is
oh,
a
so
little
you don't
confusing.
know Lila Rose?
No, I mean I've heard about her a few times in the last couple years because of
Oh,
her
boring.
becoming known, but yeah, no, the hair accessories are
Right.
not connected with her. They were invented back in the
Oh,
90s by a guy out in California, and the company is named after his two daughters.
so when I saw it on your thing, I thought you meant that you were Lila Rose's hairstylist, and you were putting that on there,
Oh,
but
no,
it's not that. Like I do
that's
hair
not.
for Lila Rose. You know, sort of like you said, I do Mel Gibson's hair. You know, like like she's a celebrity. You know? Like I'm just
I
telling
do
you, I do
my
a
own
celebrity's
hair.
hair.
I do my own hair, and when I've been at fairs and festivals showing off my hair accessories, I have a free hair braiding station um that I will do other people's hair too. So
Nice.
yeah,
So
sometimes I get tips for them.
real
Really
quick.
nice.
So I think what well, yeah. Let me know if you guys agree. I think what would work really well is if we were to, when it comes to movie nights, to just kind of have a variation of things. So obviously, we would still have a planned movie, but I might start streaming things early. Um, that way, it just kind of gives everybody the opportunity to get on and just kind of start talking. And
Yeah.
now, of course, Wednesdays are probably very hit or miss at times. So, I mean, I know that we don't always have the capability to do certain things all the time. But with that being said, um, what would you guys think of? Oh, okay, so we're gonna come on, and each person will have different things that they might want to see. So if they want to see something, or want everybody else to see something, they would be put in the queue of, okay, you get to stream this next, and then so and so gets to stream this next. But basically, I would start out the whole streaming with just any random thing, any YouTube video or TV show or anything. Say, okay, we're just all here congregating and having a good time. What do you guys think of that?
That sounds pretty cool. I like that.
Well, I've never made it to a movie night yet, so yeah. Remind me when they start.
Right now,
We
it's on
usually do
Wednesday
them on,
nights.
yeah, we do on Wednesday evenings, sometime around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Okay.
But
Now, well,
I think Saturdays would be a great secondary. If not everybody, you don't always have to join, but it gives the flexibility to people in any group. So obviously, RCS and RH have their own streaming that they do, but this might.
It's usually on Fridays, though.
Gotcha. So yeah, this might incentivize to some folks, like, hey, if you're not available on certain nights, or if you want to, I don't know, we would figure out something, because obviously this is open to the public and not just the groups. But hey, we're streaming, and this is a group of Christians
Right.
that are just meeting and having a good time and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone have any thoughts on that? On how we can improve that, ensure that it runs without a hitch?
Not in particular, no. I'm not always one for doing new things.
in movie night, I don't usually. I do sometimes go at the end. I always have prayer meeting on Wednesday night that I always go to. So, but perhaps if you had a different one, maybe I would check it out. I don't know. Like you said, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. Maybe.
It depends on what nights they are, because we have different activities sometimes as a family, but
Right.
so then it's not always. I'm not always able to make it, but I try to hop in if I can, even after everything, because it's usually still depends on what we're watching, but sometimes it's still running. So, and I'm okay with most evenings.
Gotcha. So
Currently, I go to a Bible study in person on Thursday, so Wednesday actually works quite well for me. But obviously, I haven't made it to one yet, so don't count down my vote yet, unless I've made it to a couple.
Understandable.
Do you know if anybody else is coming tonight here?
Not yet. We have a basic.
I don't.
We have the basics. Let's see who else wrote. Nobody besides Esther and myself acknowledge the text.
Send a message now or something. Let's see. I'll send the link. I don't know. Does everybody have link still. How do you? Let me see. Forget how to do that. Invite people. Copy.
Mhm.
Put it in the chat. And they'll remind anybody if they haven't come yet, maybe.
Yeah.
Facebook.
One interesting thing
It's
about
interesting that we
this.
have a lot of
Go ahead.
people in the Facebook chat that don't attend yet.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
I guess we
quite
got
Okay.
a
a
Discord
handful
that
that
don't
haven't
attend yet
ever
either.
attended. Yeah, there's quite a lot of people that are in this chat that have never attended.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
there's another function I'm trying to work on where it would, allow people to choose which channels they'd like to be on, but, people need to be actually, involved
yeah.
on here.
Actually, here.
Let's see. I've got 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got like 6 or 7 of like the 20 people on the chat here that actually come to the Bible study. And who do we have? Oh, there we go. There's Liz. Welcome.
Oh, well,
Yay!
now we've got a whole group here now.
Yep.
We had
Our usual.
we had our handful, and now we have the esteemed
And
Liz.
we
So we
have
better get started then.
shoot. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. I'm not a mind reader, Esther. I can't help you.
Shoot.
7:23 or 8:23.
We now have a Goliath handful. That's what I was thinking of.
What's that again?
We have a Goliath handful now.
Yeah, something like that. Or one of those.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Leave it to
This is
Esther to give us the Bible reference. She's got those down. I forgot. Did he have 6 fingers and 6 toes, or was that that was
not
Goliath?
Goliath.
He
That was one of his brothers, or whatever you want to call them. One of the other giants.
I think
was-
Elias
that
might be
was-
right. That's good.
Yeah,
Goliath.
Goliath himself didn't have 6 fingers and 6 toes. At least
Oh,
not what
God.
I'm
She's
told.
holding firm. She's holding firm. Does she have a right to hold
Oh
firm?
boy!
No, it's Elias. He says.
Corrected.
I'm
Now that
sorry,
Elias
Esther.
is
I
saying
hate
that,
to
I
be
think
right, but
maybe you didn't know. Maybe I shouldn't
Actually,
rely
it wasn't
on
one of his
Esther's.
brothers.
it's one of the other giants. I don't know if I can't
It's
remember.
another giant, but it's not one of his brothers.
Well, I'm so
Yeah, I
glad
can't remember if they were
that
called.
Elias
If
put me
they're,
back to that.
I think they might have been called the Brothers of the Giant or something like that. I can't remember. Let's see.
I was thinking, am I this
Someone in
bad?
Second
I know
Samuel.
that he had 6 fingers, but I know something about 6 fingers.
Yeah,
Sure
there's
enough.
one giant that had 6
His
fingers
big
on each
brother
hand
or
and 6
whatever.
toes on
Yeah.
each foot.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
I know he was 9 feet tall. That was the thing about Goliath. He was about
Goliath
9
was
feet
almost
tall.
10 feet tall. 2 Samuel 21, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
So we have. There was a battle in Gath, and there's a man of great stature that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes. And he defied Israel, and he was killed. And I believe I'm trying to look real quick. Somewhere in the context of this all, it mentions all the giants kind of in the group setting. We have one giant who had a gigantic spear on its head that weighed 300 shekels of brass, and had a new sword. Then we had the they're sons of the giant, or Rapa. I don't know what that means, but
Six fingers and 6 toes. I never really thought much about it, but now that we're talking about it, that sounds like a serious killer. You got
yeah,
an
he's got
extra finger and an extra toe, but the thing is, Goliath is the big one. He was the big
yeah.
one, right? So
Yeah, Goliath was 6 cubits and a span, if I'm not mistaken. And depending on the cubit, which I know my cubit's 18 inches, if you put that together, it's about 10 foot. And a span, because a cubit is from your elbow to the top of your fingers, and then your span is if you stretch your hand wide open, and then you go from your thumb tip all the way to your pinky. So that's a span.
Oh, yeah.
So mine is about 6 inches, 7 inches, something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so however, some more, almost 10 feet, maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
My cubit's a little bit more than 14 inches. I think it's about 16-ish.
Yeah.
But I haven't
I
measured
know
lately.
I found out what my cubit was real fast when I worked in poured walls, and we had all the panels, aluminum panels that hold the walls up, and yet when we took them down, we had to categorize them in their separate, distinct baskets, and so they generally had a label that said how many inches wide they were, but sometimes that had worn off, so I needed to be able to quickly identify. So I quickly figured out that my cubit, and then also the hammer that I was using as well, but my cubit was 18 inches, so that could give me a rough estimate and it helped me a lot faster identify what the panel was, whether it was bigger or smaller than 18 inches, and by how much. So.
I think I'm maybe closer to 17. I guess depends on how you measure, but I think 18 is probably like the average anyway, right? Isn't that kind of the
Yeah,
average?
somewhere around that is from what I've heard.
And
And
that's
yeah,
why they could use it, right? Because most people had the same close enough. It's close enough, or whatever, right? Or however that is.
yeah. And yeah, well, my Bible's even saying about almost 11 and a half feet. So on its notes, so it's somewhere around. And generally, the common knowledge is he was around 10 foot tall at least. He was huge. He was big.
Yes.
His staff of his spear, the spear staff was like a weaver's beam. I'm guessing like I'm thinking when I think weaver's beam, I'm thinking like a 4x4 or something like that. Something that wasn't it's not your normal stick.
Right. Because his huge hand, even though he had
Yeah.
5 fingers, it was huge, and he
Yeah.
had.
I mean,
Right.
Andre the Giant. You guys know Andre the Giant. I've heard about him, right?
Yeah, he's a real person.
His hand was big enough to basically swallow up any normal person's hand, and literally, during like when they were making the movie The Princess Bride, he would keep people warm. In particular, some of the ladies when it was cold out when they're on set by literally placing his hand on top of their head, and it would basically act like a giant insulated hat. It is so big. And we've got who do we got? David, welcome.
Yeah, thank
Howdy.
you. What's up, Esther?
The ceiling, I think. Better
Sweet.
be.
Well, there better be a ceiling. Yeah, gotta be housed well, I'm sure. Thank heavens for
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were snowflakes attempting to fall outside.
Yeah, we had
when I was out there. So, yeah.
We had some melting snowflakes during the latter part of the day today.
What are the chapters we're going over tonight?
43 and 45, hopefully.
45, I
Starting
think.
at 43.
Yeah. Yep, starting at 43, and Lord willing, get to 45.
Yeah, but we're not going to get there unless we start, so.
Yes, indeed.
Where is that?
All right. Alan, you want to lead us in prayer?
I do.
All right.
Father in heaven, we thank you. We thank you that we can meet again now and we can read from your word. And we pray that you would help us, that your Holy Spirit would help us to love each other well and to love your word and to obey you, and that you would teach us out of your word tonight. So we thank you. Give us good discussion. That Jesus would be praised. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 So our custom is to read. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. You gonna start us, or
Yeah.
what? Somebody gonna start us that first chapter? Yeah.
Yeah, I can read it. Chapter 43 of Genesis. And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straitly of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye yet another brother? And we had told him according to the tenor of these words. Certainly, or could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your sacks, or in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, and carry it again in your hand. Peradventure it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go again unto the man. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother, and Benjamin. If I am bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hands, and Benjamin, and rose up, and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be unto you. Fear not, your God and the God of your father hath given you a treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready for the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well, the old man of whom ye spake? Is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant our father is in good health. He is alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber, and wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained himself, and said, Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for him, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. The word of the Lord.
Sweet to God.
Yes.
We do that at my church too.
Yeah, I remember we were first introduced to that. That was something that I just always want to do that now whenever I read the Bible like that. It's like,
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
yeah.
So how about it? Pretty good chapter, huh?
Yep, pretty good.
I guess Jacob wasn't in a rush to get Simeon back. Verse 2 says it came to pass once they had eaten up the corn, then he says, go get some more.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
obviously he
he
was kind
doesn't
of
say go get your
dreading the
brother yet.
idea of, coming back with. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they had already
Right.
kind of had that conversation in the previous
Yeah.
chapter that's going to have to happen sometime, and he just said no, and now they're having to have the same conversation because
Yeah.
they need food.
That's like,
Right.
did we not have this conversation? Like, I thought we did, but anyway,
Yeah,
I just didn't want to deal with it. Isn't that
yeah,
how it goes in life, though? Like, we don't really, at least that I've noticed, is that, like,
yeah,
we don't want to deal with the problems that are coming ahead of us. We just want to deny it and just put it off to the side and not deal with it and think it's not an issue. And when we get to the problem, we really do have to make a decision. And sometimes it's, I don't know, not like anything could have changed, but, there's some things that, God has given us the ability to plan ahead and be wise.
yes.
But,
The first part of this study is going to
Jacob doesn't
be.
have any
I
concern about it.
apologize. The first part of the study is not going to be fully screened because I was trying to edit something, but all audio will still be there.
That's
Okay.
okay.
I think we'll survive. Yeah. But yeah,
So
he
yeah,
didn't even want to face it like you said, Elizabeth. Yeah, he just said, go get it. Like
yeah,
he didn't. want to say, and take Benjamin and get my other son back.
Yes,
Go get more
you're
food.
right. Because we remember that Simeon's still in Egypt. He's been in there for however long they've been gone, and
Right.
Yeah.
So somehow or another, he'd have to also not just to not want to send Benjamin. He'd also have to ignore the fact that Simeon's gone. And
Yeah, but it sounds like that's what he's doing, doesn't it? He's like, go
yeah,
get some food. And then they're
exactly.
like, no, 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 no. We need to bring Benjamin back. And it's
Yes.
not just for Simeon, right? We cannot go back without Benjamin. We
Yeah.
can't go, right?
Yeah. He said
And,
they affirm multiple times that he said, "You don't get to see me again." And kind of like we discussed last time, it appears that Joseph was the one that they had to kind of go through to be able to even get anything. So by not seeing his face again, they couldn't get grain, and without they're bringing their brother
right.
Benjamin.
Yeah, they're confident that there's no way to do this, even though their dad seems to want to just brush it under the rug. Like, just go get some grain. No, there's no way. Yeah, we got to
Hmm.
bring Benjamin. So, well, they prevail upon him with Judah, at least, right?
Yeah,
He says,
Judah's finally taken a little bit of responsibility. We kind of saw that last time. Reuben was still kind of remaining the responsible one, but now he's got Judah kind of stepping in, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and then he does what we kind of Reuben already had done, and offers his sons as like how's it called? There's protection and
"Die."
whatever.
Yeah,
What's that? I don't know. I don't even know the words I'm looking for. But you get the idea. Basically,
sacrifice, a human
if
sacrifice. I don't know. Yes,
yeah,
is that what
I
you're looking
can,
for? Yeah,
collateral. I
he
think
had
that's
to.
I think it's collateral is what I'm looking for.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
um,
Slay my two sons. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, now Judah actually takes real responsibility. Yeah.
yes,
Well, but Judah
and
didn't actually offer his sons as collateral, though. It just says that, I will take the blame. It doesn't say kill my sons if I
Right.
don't bring them back.
Real. Right. I'm saying he's taking. I'm trying to distinguish. He's taking real responsibility. I'm
yeah,
saying
Ah.
Reuben just offered to kill some people or something, his own grandsons. Yes, but Judah takes real
Um,
responsibility. I think. I think that's. Is that not a good reading of the text?
mm.
Go ahead, argue with me. I'm just asking you. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
I'm thinking.
I would agree with
I think I might be thinking of what Ruben said. I can't remember. Um,
you.
yeah, Ruben
So he
had
just
said
says,
like,
I will be a surety for him of my
yeah,
hand. I will.
I'm thinking of last time, and for whatever reason, I forgot that was what Ruben said in the previous chapter. He said, "Kill my two sons if I don't bring them back."
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Which
Judah's
I think
now
is
just
cool.
saying, "I will bear a full responsibility uh, if I don't bring Benjamin back."
Right. Yep. So
So,
he takes that. Apparently that works. There's that funny
yeah,
verse. Verse 10 is kind of a funny verse, I noticed, but
yeah. If we had,
I
except we
don't
had lingered,
what it
surely
means.
now we had returned.
I should have looked up a commentary on that verse. Just kind of a funny verse at the end of that argument or whatever. He just saying he could have gone back and forth by now, but
Yeah.
apparently it works because Dad says verse 11, but there it is, Israel, right? Israel
Yep.
says. Well, he's in verse
Mhm.
6 too, Israel. So we have call him Israel, and okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and he says take all
So I'm
that
just
money
wondering where
back,
the
and
best
I'll
fruit in the land came from, though.
What's
what's that?
that?
I was wondering where the best fruits in the land came from if it's a famine.
I was
Yeah,
considering
well,
that this morning. Um, if you when he says the best fruits of the land, he mentions what they are. He says a little
Mhm.
balm,
yep,
a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. Basically, there's nothing really besides the honey and nuts and almonds. There's nothing really edible per se. You got
Right.
spices and some additives and like incense type stuff, but really not any food. It's more like bonus stuff, like think salt or condiments or something. Not really
Yeah,
food.
when I read it, I just assumed it was like the best thing. It was just like a present, like just a nice thing to try to get favor or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's nothing in the line of food like like a lot of stuff. It's just like a little, like you said, a little present just to kind of
Yeah.
be there. Not something
Well,
extravagant.
it was
that
stuff that wasn't
maybe-
like, and all those things that were mentioned. There's things that can hold well for many years if stored properly and things like that. So
Yeah, they're not normal food. They're like you said, they last. Honey doesn't go bad, and nuts and almonds those can easily be stored, and the spices obviously aren't even food and such.
They obviously didn't have real food or whatever. That's the point of going down,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So this is what
Yep.
they have. These are their treasured things. Like
But basically, it's a little bonus peace offering to hopefully
right?
make Joseph keep his word. Is what the idea is. He's scared that he's going to lose Benjamin too, and this is like a little thing like, here, take this as a
well,
peace
and
offering.
this is such a good idea. Like, think about this. Like, if you have somebody that you're kind of at odds with that hates your guts or something like that, make them a little pie, a little loaf of bread, a jar of jam, something, and give it to them. Make a little peace offering.
Yeah, there's the proverb of wisdom here. Isn't there? Thank you, Elizabeth, for that reminder. I think there's a proverb about that, like how nice a bribe is or whatever. Like the proverbs talk about. There's a right way to do that. We don't think about the holy way to do bribes, but there's a way. There's a holy way to do bribes. A wise way.
I don't
Well,
think
it
it would
just smooths.
be called a bribe, though.
Yeah,
It should
well,
be
I mean, it just like kind of smooths the edges over and create,
Yeah.
and makes
The
it seem like,
proverbs talk about bribes. So yeah.
yeah.
It's just the
I like
idea.
how
The
Elizabeth
idea of a bribe doesn't have to be an absolute. It's just give a present. The present before you. Yeah, there's a proverb about that. I'm sure I didn't find what it was, but I can tell you that it is. But anyway, yeah. So they send that present before, and I appreciate you pointing out the wisdom, Elizabeth. Yeah, because why not? It's not going to hurt them, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's for sure.
So he gives them instruction on a little gift to bring, and then he says, make sure to take double money, the money that you had returned, and then money for this time, so that just in case it was like just something was a mistake and somebody didn't take the money right or put something in the wrong place. Basically, it was an oversight. Something went wrong, and hopefully it wasn't done intentionally or like trying to hurt somebody. So
Yeah.
he seems to be hanging on. He seems to have gained a little bit of hope in that situation.
Maybe. Yeah, I think it's funny too because the first time he just says, "Just go and get it," but then after the argument, now he's sending all these presents. Maybe it's in hopes that he'll get his youngest son back.
Yeah,
Verse
exactly.
13, he does say it in 13. He says, "Yeah, okay, and take your brother," right? So, and God Almighty give you mercy. Yeah, so now he's maybe trusting in God in some sense, but he has to add on. But oh man, if I'm bereaved of my children, I'm bereaved. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
God give you mercy, right? So he's hoping for mercy from God here.
Yep.
I don't feel like we have the best looks for Jacob in these days here, but there's a good look. The first half of verse 14, at least, and that he does go with the plan and realizes he needs God's help.
Yes.
Not that he's all that optimistic about it, right?
Definitely pessimistic.
Yes.
But he's enough that he's gonna go with it. He's doing it. Well, maybe Joseph was praying that they'd come. Maybe it was Joseph's prayers. You can't imagine what would have happened if they never came back. Think about that for Joseph. He sent them back. What if they never came back? Right? He's probably been praying for him the whole time, knowing Joseph. So eventually they had to do it. So they did.
And you have to wonder if any of them are thinking about the dream that happened all those years ago. It's like they're gonna have to bow down
I don't
one
know.
way or another.
It's like
Yeah, and
At
I
least
guess
20
point.
years ago, so
at
they
this
may have
point
forgotten about it.
they seem to be persuaded themselves that Joseph is long
Yeah.
gone, possibly even dead. So I imagine that for the most part, they probably wouldn't have thought about it, but they may have might have reminded them of, hey, this is interesting, but I doubt they have thought much of it.
Good point, Elias. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they could possibly be thinking about it because, as we're going to keep reading, eventually, I mean, Joseph has to convince them who he is, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
they,
no,
they don't.
there doesn't seem to be any thought in them that this could be their brother, right?
Yes,
If it,
yes,
and if there was a thought, then they would believe it, right? That's kind of how it is sometimes, right? Another tidbit
yep,
lesson, I feel like Elizabeth here, but if they even considered that it was Joseph, then they would have known it was, right? I think that's
Yeah.
how it is sometimes. It's like there's no way to halfway
and yet in
do that. I think.
26 it shows
Yeah.
them bowing down. Like who else have they ever bowed down to? Like
yeah.
there had to have been like, wait a minute, why are we bowing? How did we get to this point?
I have no idea, honestly.
Like, how did we
Yeah.
get to this point?
Yeah. Well, good point that that's the best chance they'd have of knowing him, right? But they're all
Mhm.
bowing down or whatever before this guy. But
Well,
even then,
but then
seems
they
like
end
I
up
don't know
doing
how
it
many
again
times they
later,
bowed down.
so you know.
Right, more bowing down. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so they took it all.
They took his
And they went
advice and took the stuff he told them to take. They took the present,
with
took double
Benjamin at
money.
15.
And then,
And they stood before Joseph. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's a real fast verse. They go with Benjamin, they got him. And verse 16, Joseph really liked seeing Benjamin.
yes. As soon as he saw them, he tells his servant to the ruler of his own house, bring them in to his house, get everything ready for a supper, a grand feast, and they're going to eat with him in his house that evening.
Right. Well, to
And
nitpick on you from the text, yeah, as soon as Joseph saw Benjamin with them, yeah, he says
yes,
he's the Benjamin. Yeah, and then he's get the big meal here.
yep,
Yeah, and so they did it. Oh man, verse 18, they're afraid, it says. They're
yes.
just afraid of everything. These guys are just afraid. They get to go to his house.
And they think that
No.
it's an important place. It's not every day you get invited to the most powerful ruler in Egypt's house. So,
Is this really where he kills people or what? Well, that's what they thought, right? Yeah. That's what they thought, like, right, that he's gonna get us and it's because of the money, right? And
yeah,
verse 18, right?
yeah,
And he's gonna get us. I don't know. But anyway, that good thing for this steward. I was so surprised when we read it. Well, I read it early, right before we did it, about the steward, verse 19.
yeah. He
He
says,
talks about
um, where'd it go? Um,
20. Yeah.
yes, and it's 20. We came to buy food. We found the money in our sacks again, and we're not sure where it came from, but we brought the money for this time, and then we brought last time's money. And we don't know who put it in our sacks. And he says, peace to you. Fear not, your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. And I had your money. Egypt's been paid. There's nothing for you to worry about. God gave you that money.
Yeah, I
And
thought
he
that was
said,
so
it doesn't,
striking.
yeah,
This is not Joseph, right? This is Joseph's steward.
yes,
And
this
he
is
says,
Joseph's good.
fear not your God and the God of your father. What?
Yes. I'm guessing somehow or another Joseph has been a pretty good influence on the people he's around.
Well, I'm guessing
He's,
the same thing. It just doesn't seem to make any sense. Who is this
I
guy
know.
saying the God of your father? Right?
Yes, he doesn't say the gods of Egypt or anything or just God. He says your God and the God of your father. He's very very specific on which God he's talking about.
Yeah, I looked this one up. before just because this one struck me. I didn't. I mean, I got the same essence of it, but yeah, it's a notable thing for sure, right? But somebody said maybe it was a Hebrew, but either way, we don't know. But I think we can see it right here from the text. It's just an amazing thing to say. And again, it's like it's way better than the brothers speak. The brothers. Well, I mean, really, the brothers say nothing about God ever, right? In these chapters, they don't say anything.
Yeah,
They
that's
just are
good.
afraid. It's Joseph saying to them, "I fear God," right? Right? And then
Yep.
it's his servant saying, "Oh no, God did it for you. Peace be to you, God."
Yep.
Then he gives them Simeon, so it's all, like it's all part of the peace. It's
Yes,
all
he
part of the
brings
peace. He's
Simeon
giving
out
them,
of the prison. I bet you
yeah.
Simeon was glad to see that.
Well, yeah, but we don't know either. It doesn't say anything about it, right? Like how, or did we remember saying how he was treated or anything?
It doesn't
Not much.
actually really tell us. As far as I've seen, I know
Yeah, doesn't tell us. Doesn't tell us.
it in the. I know in
There's
the
nothing to
audio
say. It
drama.
doesn't tell us. There's nothing to say. It doesn't tell us.
Yeah.
So anyway,
The
however they brought
audio.
him out, he's out now for the meal. So right, so he gets to be part of the
Yep.
meal. Verse 24.
Yep.
Wash their feet or whatever. Well,
They
even
come
that,
for the meal. Good.
they're asses.
Yep.
So
They,
so at least they should think some good things, right? Like what? They're giving
yeah.
our
At this
donkeys
point,
some
I'm
food.
assuming they should be relaxing.
Well, that's why it's so confusing, really. Like, what's going on, right? Because then now they, well, let's keep reading, right? Like, what? So they gave him the present or whatever. Verse 25.
Yeah.
Verse 26 too, right? Yeah. Gave him the present. They bowed again. Here's another bowing, as Timothy's reminding us that they keep bowing to this guy. They bow to him to the earth. And then here he goes interrogating them again about their father. But I don't know about interrogating, if that's the right word, but he asked them, "Is that old guy you talked about, is he okay?" He wants to know about his father.
He's
But
still
yeah, he's good.
yeah, he's still playing as if he doesn't really know much about him. And he says your father whom you spake of, the old man of who you spake, is he still
You
alive?
spoke of, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that you spoke of, is he okay? Yeah, it's just so funny to me, but yeah. Because he
Yes.
wants to know about his dad, right? But he's asking,
Yep.
the one you said, that guy, how is he? Oh, they call him his servant, which kind of reminds me of how they're bowing down in the dream, right? Because in the dream it was the parents too, right?
Well,
But
that
they
was the
Yeah.
answered.
second dream.
The second dream it was his parents. The first dream it wasn't.
Oh, wow. Good reminder for me. Thank you for that note. Okay, first dream it wasn't, and the second dream it was. Yeah. Well, either way, as far as the second dream, I'm trying to figure out the second one, but 28 says that he's your servant, so maybe that goes for the bowing down, but I don't know if we have record of him bowing down, but we can assume he did or whatever. But yeah. Obeisance. I don't use that word very often.
Yep. Obeisance or obeisance, whatever.
Obeisance, yeah,
What
that's
we
right. I
call
know.
it.
Don't even know how to say
Basically,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, well, he's in good health, and yeah, he's good. He's alive, and
He is in good health. He is alive. They bow down, and then he looks up and he sees Benjamin again. He's
the
able to pick
highlight.
out Benjamin rather quickly, and
Yeah.
um, it mentions and emphasizes it's his mother's son. So basically, his closest brother, and
Yeah,
all
his
for
mother's
all
son,
intents and
Rachel's
purposes.
son. Yes, he's the
Yep.
son of Rachel. If you had a bunch of stepbrothers, this might occur to you too. It's like this is his mother's son. This is
Yep.
the full brother of his only full brother, right? He's got all those other brothers, and the only brother who didn't sell him, right? The
Yep.
only. It's like,
That's true. That's
what's
true.
funny
I
about
haven't thought about that.
unless you want to count Reuben, because Reuben said it last. He didn't actually do
Yeah.
it, right? But in the essence of it, he did. But yeah, yeah. So Benjamin, he looks at him and he loves him. I mean, it doesn't say it, but it says he spoke graciously, or what did he say? Yeah, He said,
Yep.
"God be gracious unto thee, my son." That's what it is. Just imagine him like he's so happy to see his brother, right? I think. But yeah. Well, we get more indication that he's happy to see his brother eventually here, right? But yeah. Actually, that's when he has to weep. He has to go and weep. Did he weep last time? I don't remember. Last time he met his brothers?
Yes,
Did he
he
weep?
did. He went into his chamber and
Oh,
he wept there,
he
and
did.
then
He
he
did.
washed his face and came out and he
Yeah.
restrained himself and said, "Serve the bread."
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah. And the
No,
last
that's
time,
this
the
time.
last,
This time.
the last time he had cried, when they were in the prison, talking about how they were being punished by God for what they had done to Joseph,
Yeah,
and
so
so
he did cry before.
and he understood that because he didn't need an interpreter, and then he runs off to cry,
Yeah, that's right.
and
That's what it was. That's what it was. Thanks for the reminder, because I'm saying I've been wondering if it was Benjamin makes. Well, Benjamin did make him cry, I think, still. But
yeah, not in
that's
particular or only, but I think this time it's definitely a good factor in it because he's very overjoyed to see Benjamin.
I think so. But I'm saying, yeah, the first time it was hearing about how they talking about him or whatever, right? Yeah, and then he goes and he loses it. And this time, just taking a look at this kid and saying, "Great God be gracious to you," that's enough for him to go and
Yes.
he goes and weeps. And then he, uh, yeah, and then he says, "Serve the food," or yeah, set the bread when he comes back. Which, yeah, you'd think. I don't know. I just keep wondering what these brothers are thinking because what a great deal. They're in his house, getting served this big meal. Oh man, what the world? And they still don't put it together, right? But this is our brother. They
Yep.
just do not put it together at all. They don't put anything together. They just they're getting treated so well, right? I mean, sitting down at his house,
Hmm.
getting all this food.
Well,
It's just
yeah. Did anyone mention that they all got sat according to their age too?
Yes. Yeah, he's the servant. The servant puts them in age from the oldest to the least. Um,
yeah,
and
verse 33.
yeah, and they even notice it because they marveled one at another. They noticed
Hmm.
that, hey, this guy somehow knows all of our ages and put us in
It's
age
more
order.
evidence of how dense they are. This is just more evidence, right?
Yep.
He puts them in order. Who would know this? Joseph
Yep.
knows their order. He knows he remembers them that well now as he puts it all together, right? That year, Reuben, yeah, you're Simeon, yeah. He puts them all. They get them all in order, and they still don't figure. They know us. Could this be? They just have. They don't have it anywhere in their mind at all that Joseph could possibly be this guy. It's
Yeah.
nowhere in their mind. Joseph is dead to them, even though they're the ones who know he's not dead. He's dead to them. They should know. They should know, right? They totally should know. I mean, isn't it true, Joseph? He's giving it away to them by placing them in order, in a sense.
Yeah. And so this guy
It's
has.
part of his trust to them.
Yep.
And then by giving Benjamin 5 times more. I mean, he's just so unashamedly bold about it all. Like, like
Yes.
it's just it's just more evidence about him almost, isn't it?
Yep.
Even when they found him the first time, I wonder if he thought that they were going to recognize him. When he's saying, and then he's saying, "Bring your youngest brother," and like they had enough. They had enough way back when even to kind of figure it out, but they wouldn't. They just did not figure it out. And then here they are with Benjamin,
Yeah.
and he's just loving. He's sitting there right in front of them, loving Benjamin. Right? God be gracious
Yes.
to you, son. I mean, and then he gives him 5 times more. What do you got, Elizabeth? You got something for us?
I'd play the cricket sound, but I can't find it.
Yeah. Well, her mute's off. I thought maybe she was gonna say something. But anyway, because I thought I saw something change. But man, they still don't figure it out. But he gets 5 times more. Yeah, it's an abomination for the Egyptians to eat with the other ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you guys ascertain? I didn't ascertain who's who. Is Joseph also separate from them? Did you catch that?
Yes, because currently
I think
he's an
so.
Egyptian. Because it's kind of explained better in the audio drama, but basically they set on him, Joseph, for himself and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, and they sat before him, and they took look and sent messes unto them from before him. Basically, from there's the Egyptians' table, and then there's Joseph's table, and then the brothers' table. So
Joseph is just specifically distinguished. Maybe it's not so much that he's a Hebrew. He's just
at least
he has his own table
Well,
because he's Joseph.
it might be because he's a Hebrew, but they don't know that he's a Hebrew. But the
possibly.
Egyptians know that he's a Hebrew, so that's why he has
At
his
this
own
point,
table. I
he's the
don't know.
Lord, so I doubt that it matters much. But yeah, it could be. But basically, you have two.
As I read it
You have at
now,
least
it seems like he's by himself because he's King Joseph. He's champion Joseph.
and then the
He's not
food gets
poisoned.
the food gets put at Joseph's
Right.
table, and then from Joseph's table, the food is served onto platters to the brothers, basically showing that everything that they have is coming from him. They don't just get served directly from the kitchen; they get served from his
I would
table.
love to know. I would love to
That's
know
all.
how much Pharaoh
Right.
was looking and being like, "What are you doing?" Joseph,
Right.
Yeah.
what are you doing with these men?
Yes, for sure.
Because surely somebody was reporting back to Pharaoh, like,
I mean,
Joseph's treating these guys.
I want to
See,
say,
it's
I
hard
want
to
to say,
say.
I kind of want to say yes, but then again, everything, I mean,
Yeah.
also points to that Pharaoh
Yeah.
seemed to trust Joseph so much that I have a feeling no, and that
Well,
he didn't
I
have to
just
report
imagine.
anything. And
I can just
nobody,
imagine
We'll
funny
eventually
funny
read about it.
conversations between the two. Like, yeah, this is
yeah, for sure.
guess what? I messed with
it's
my
definitely
brothers
something
again
to speculate.
today. They had no clue it was me.
Yeah, that would be funny. I would imagine he would report back, but also he wouldn't need anybody to report. Like his doings without him letting him
Of
know.
course.
So yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine that he was talking to too many people, although his servant does seem to know about the situation. So maybe because and he seems to be in the same Bible study or whatever, right? So because isn't he the one that sets them? Or I don't know if it said that he's the one that set them according to their.
It says
We don't know.
let's
Yeah.
see. They sat before him, the firstborn, and all that. Basically, they were arranged that way, but it doesn't tell us exactly who did it. But we can assume that the ruler of Joseph's house had something to do with it, because he's the one who's
Yeah,
arranging
with it
everything
coming
else.
from Joseph. So I'm saying the people that maybe would know at least is the people in Joseph's
Oh.
Bible study. I'll just say because when he said peace be to you, the guy seemed to know something about their situation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he took out their brother Simeon for them, and he knew that no, God gave you your provisions, and I got your money.
Yep.
Of course, he didn't get their money, or did he get their money? Was it
He
kept from
did.
him? I'm
Yeah.
thinking he's in on it. I'm thinking he's in
Yeah,
on it, but
he
maybe not.
definitely seems to be in on it because that like
Yeah.
Joseph gave him all these instructions. I imagine
Yeah.
that Joseph may have even
I think
pondered that the brothers might be afraid of what happened, and if they were to mention the silver, that this is what you're supposed to say. I don't know. Either that, or he did that all on his own. We don't know.
I think he's in on it, but I don't think he has to be. He could not be in on it, but I think
Yeah.
it seems just from his beautiful words to them and everything seems like he knows and he's given them the faith.
Yep.
And so they get that good word from him. Now they get this big meal, and then they see Benjamin get all that extra meal too.
Yep.
Is this the end of the chapter here? Yeah.
Yes,
That's the end of chapter 43. So if we want to continue studying, somebody's got to read.
Sweet.
All right, Timothy, you gonna read for us?
So we're on 44 now, I think. Yep.
Correct.
And he
Yeah,
commanded the
44.
steward of his house, saying, "Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of his sack. Also put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest, and his grain money." So he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning dawned, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. When they had gone out of the city and were not yet far off, Joseph said to his steward, "Get up, follow the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, 'Why have you repaid evil for good? Is not this the one from which my Lord drinks, and with which he indeed practices in divination? You have done evil in so doing.' So he overtook them, and he spoke to them these same words. And they said to him, 'Why does my Lord say these words? Far be it from us that your servants should do such a thing. Look, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the money which we found in the mouth of our sacks. How then could we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? With whomever of your servants it is found, let him die, and we also will be my Lord's slaves.' And he said, 'Now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my slave, and you shall be blameless.' Then each man speedily let down his sack to the ground, and each opened his sack. So he searched. He began with the oldest, and left off with the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they tore their clothes, and each man loaded his donkey, and returned to the city. So Judah and his brothers came to Joseph's house, and he was still there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said to them, 'What deed is this you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly practice divination?' Then Judah said, 'What shall we say to my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of your servants. Here we are, my Lord's slaves, both we and he also with whom the cup was found.' But he said, 'Far be it from me that I should do so. The man in whose hand the cup was found, he shall be my slave. And as for you, go up in peace to your father.' Then Judah came near to him and said, 'O my Lord, please let your servant speak a word in my Lord's hearing, and do not let your anger burn against your servant, for you are even like Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servants, saying, Have you a father or brother? And we said to my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, who is young. His brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother's children, and his father loves him. Then you said to your servants, Bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes on him. And we said to my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. But you said to your servants, Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you shall see my face no more. So it was, when we went up to your servant my father, that we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go back and buy us a little food. But we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother is with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant, my father, said to us, You know that my wife bore me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. But if you take this one also from me, and calamity befalls him, you shall bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad is not with us, since his life is bound up in the lad's life, it will not happen, when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die. So your servants will bring down the gray hair of your servant, our father, with sorrow to the grave. For your servant became surety for the lad to my father, saying, If I do not bring him back to you, then I shall bear the blame before my father forever. Now therefore, please let your servant remain instead of the lad as a slave to my lord, and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father if the lad is not with me, lest perhaps I see the evil that would come upon my father?
There he is, taking all that responsibility. What a good look at the end there.
Yep.
Judah.
As
You
if
read? What are you reading?
as if selling Joseph
What
into
is
slavery was punishment enough. This is deep stuff.
Or
Especially since Joseph was one of those sons that was talked about, other than Benjamin, coming from the same cut from the same cloth.
Yep.
Ouch.
So we have after the meal, Joseph has the steward of his house give the men their food in the sacks, and then give back all their silver again, and then also take his personal silver cup and put it in the sack of what he calls the youngest, and he didn't name him in this, but he just says the youngest, and his corn money. So he says, give him his money back too, but also put this silver cup of mine in his sack. And the guy does everything that he tells him to. And in the morning, so they spent the night there, at least, and the men were sent away, and they start traveling back. And when they were not very far from the city, they had just got out of the city and were not very far away. Joseph then knows and says, Go after them, and when you overtake them, say unto them, Why have you repaid the good with evil? Is it not which in my Lord drinks? And this is how he divines. Um, you have done evil in so doing, and basically you stole. And a fancy way to say you stole the cup, his special cup.
Mhm.
And so he overtook them and spake unto them. And were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I know. I'm hearing you. Yeah. Yep. He speaks to him.
Um,
Yeah,
he
he
speaks to
does the
them.
same thing. He knows he's in on it, sort of. He knows that it's a lie, right? He's asking them for these things, but he knows because
Yep.
he's put stuff in there, right?
Yeah, he put the stuff in there, and now he's going out to accuse them of stealing. And so he catches up with them and starts telling them all what Joseph told him to say. And they said, "Why are you talking about them like this? Why would we do that? Um, we told you we already found what we think was our money in our sacks last time, and we told you about it, and we brought double money and
Verse
repaid you in
7. God,
full."
God forbid. That was
Yep.
also in 17, verse 17. He says, "God forbid." That Joseph says that. So his brothers say it too. I didn't realize they said it too.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a different version that didn't say it as "God forbid" in verse 17. But that's what mine says here in the King James. But I'm
Yep.
assuming it's the same Hebrew word as it is in verse 7 because they say, "Yeah, God forbid." But
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
good.
they're sure that they didn't do it, right? Yeah,
Yep. They're so sure
And
that they
sure enough,
say,
they're like, oh, just kill the guy that it shows up with, you know?
"Yep."
yeah, they're so
Exactly.
sure they
This
should just kill him. There's no
Yeah.
way any of us took that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Whoever of us you find it with, let him die, and then we will also become your slaves. The rest of us. And he said, "Let it be according to thy words." But and whoever shall be found will be guilty, and then you guys will be innocent. And so they took down everything and got ready for the inspection.
Oh, I love it. It's such torture. They sound like we're
Yeah.
fair. Just the one that did it. That's
Yep.
all. I mean, it's sick in a sense. It's a sick joke, but it's all part of this pressing them. It's like, shouldn't they get it yet? They should get it. When are they gonna get it? They're not gonna get it. They never get it.
It's the,
I don't get it.
it seems to
that?
me though
Sorry,
like
quoting.
it seems to me
Yeah.
though, given Joseph's character, it seems like he maybe was trying to test where their hearts were at.
Yes.
I think so.
I think he was trying to see if they were truly repentant or not.
Yep. That's
Trying to see
what
where they were
kind of the whole.
actually. Yeah.
I
Good.
think so. I think he just keeps testing them, right? That's what this
Yeah.
is too. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole tests are generally, like you said, to try and see whether Benjamin was okay, whether they were still the same as they used to be with um, their general demeanor towards everyone else, and their godliness, and whether
Yeah.
they be honest and open, and so on and so forth. So yeah.
Well, and
Which
even
and
just
it,
putting it in Benjamin's sack, it's just, oh man.
and
I mean,
apparently, go ahead.
in a
Ashley,
sense, I think it was kind of it was wise for Joseph to do that to see where their hearts were actually at before revealing himself.
Yes.
Yeah,
So in a sense, I think it was
because
wisdom on
it
his
could have
part.
been like, yeah,
Yeah.
because he wanted to know whether they had truly changed their attitude toward, because obviously Benjamin is the only one of the same. Like he kind of figured out, like, okay, it's the same. I mean, and I guess he was there when Benjamin was there, but not for
Yeah.
very long.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
he's
And it
already
seems
been.
it does seem like Judah has changed at least a little bit from what
Yeah.
he was before. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
Joseph
for sure.
Joseph has
Maybe
been.
it,
Because
Good.
if he revealed himself, then they could have just sucked up and been like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry, and please help us."
Yeah.
Like he did. He knew he was in a position of power over them, that he could
Yeah.
essentially do whatever he wanted, and he knew that unless some way to like get them to admit that they had changed. So
They kind of provided that
I
for
mean, yeah,
him,
like
though.
you said, yeah, he just wanted to make sure that they're genuine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That they're being genuine. Yeah.
They kind of provided that for him when they mentioned Benjamin and how their father was being very protective of him. He knew if he could play on that and kind of get them to see if they would be like, oh, whatever, or if they would actually be repentant and actually wanting to help their father and have a change of heart. Because obviously he didn't know what happened and what they told his father about his disappearance. He didn't know what happened with that, but he could only assume that
Right?
they didn't tell him the truth and that they didn't let him know what happened.
Yeah, excellent. Right. He's now
Mhm.
seeing if they're going to stick up for their other brother. They sold
Yep.
him. What are they going to do to
Yeah.
Benjamin?
Yeah.
What are they
Exactly.
going to do to
Yeah.
Benjamin? I'm going to put the
Yeah.
whole thing
right.
Mhm.
in his
Are they
thing.
just,
Let's see if how they treat my brother.
yeah. Are they
That's what
just
he's
gonna
Yeah.
let him go and just ignore it and not care? Yep.
Well, then verse
And
12.
Right,
Look at the
because after
vessel.
Joseph left, obviously Benjamin became the favorite,
yep.
and the most, loved on.
Who was
So,
who had all sorts
yeah.
of
Are they
extra
going to do the same
protection,
thing to
right?
the favorite son again? Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
think about how Jacob must have favored Benjamin. Just think about it, right? He wouldn't even let him go the first time, right? He's just,
Oh
oh
boy.
man.
Yes.
But verse 12. Look at verse 12.
Yep.
They
So we
start the
have
whole thing again, right?
yeah, and that may have been like interesting too, because as you're going down the line, 11 brothers and just one after another. Nope, not here. Nope, not here. And they probably felt like they were on the winning side of the whole thing as they went down the line of oldest to youngest. It's like,
Right.
see, we told you we don't have it, and then wham, right at the end.
They're already packing leave while Benjamin's being searched, right? It's the ninth inning or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's definitely a good thought. They
10-0 at the
yeah.
bottom of the inning or whatever. And so it's like, oh well, of course Benjamin didn't take it. What do we do? Okay, we're heading out, and then all of a sudden they find it. I mean, it's kind of like that, right? It's like
Yeah,
on purpose, but
exactly.
I would have said, "What are they doing? The oldest to youngest thing again? What is this?" Right?
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe they tried it the first time, but they don't. I don't know what happens here. I don't get it. Maybe I don't get it but it seems like I love verse 13. You know how this happens here.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, right.
This is a good Bible trivia. I was thinking of asking you, Liz, because we talked about Genesis before, but I was like, that's a good trivia. What did they do as soon as they found out what happened to Benjamin? But anyway, what they did was, verse 13 tells you, they rent their clothes and then they pack up everything and head back to the city.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just an interesting deal. They're just completely wiped out with this. But oh man, what did they say? Judah, verse 14. They fall before the
Judah.
ground again. So here we go again. Yeah, they're bow down.
Yep. They went back to
And
the city, and then they
he
came
raped
to
them.
Joseph's house, and he was still there. Apparently, he hadn't left his house. And they fell before him on the ground, and then he starts reprimanding them. What is this that you have done? Do you not know that I can certainly divine? And basically, make trial, is what it says. We're going back to verse 5, where he talks about divining. And that goes note, make a trial again. I'd have to look into that a little bit and what it actually means. I know generally what we would understand divining to mean, but it's interesting with that
Right.
note. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know what it means. Yeah. But either way,
yeah. Moving on.
Judah answers. He has no answer. He's completely wiped out. What are we
What do
going to
we
say?
say?
What are we going to speak? How are we going to clear ourselves? God found out the iniquity of thy servants, whatever that means. Maybe he means the iniquity of Benjamin. It's almost like they think that Benjamin did take it. That's how I think. I think they think like, I guess he did take it. Is
Yeah.
that? I think they kind of are just resigned to that. Like
They didn't know what to
maybe
say.
not.
What to
Am I
think.
reading this? I think they thought, of course nobody took it, but then when it's with Benjamin,
Yeah, there's nothing else
oh,
that
I guess
they
that
can
little
do.
brat.
So.
I guess the little
Well-
brat did take it. I don't know, and we are guilty,
I
and we
don't
know
think-
that.
I mean, the reality is that they're faced with a situation for, they told that they did do it. So, like, there was no way to prove that they didn't do it or he didn't do it, even if they knew that he didn't do it. So,
Right, excellent point. That's the point. But I'm saying it doesn't say that. I'm saying as far as what it says, it's not like we know this isn't true or God. What is God doing to us? Even here, when he says God has found out the iniquity of thy servants, it's almost like he's taking blame. Like we did do this, we did it. The kid stole it. That's what I'm saying. I think it's actually like he thinks this is the judgment of God against our stealing, and we stole it because Benjamin stole it. The little brat took it. And, I mean, he doesn't say that, but I'm saying
It seemed that Judah here was probably, like you said, he was kind of feeling defeated and dejected at this point, and he didn't know what else to do other than to literally just take it, like take the blame, rather than defend himself or defend his family's honor. I mean, even though they really didn't have any honor in themselves, given what they did to Joseph years and years ago. So it's like at this point, with Joseph testing his brothers, that's probably why Joseph was doing this, just to see where are their hearts where are their hearts truly, like, right at this moment? Especially given that they sold him into slavery. Like, did they really change? Did they change, or did they remain the same from that point forward? Something of that nature.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying again though that he's even when he says Joseph presses him in verse 17, right? And he says, "Oh no, just Benjamin, God forbid," he says, "that I should take you all. Just that one whose hand the cup was found, he'll be my servant. The rest of you can go in peace." This is this test here of them, and Judah doesn't say he's actually innocent anyway. I'm saying here we go again. He's just saying I'll take his place. I think Judah actually thinks Benjamin did somehow steal this, but either way, he's taking complete responsibility for it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he thinks Joseph. Maybe he thinks that he didn't actually steal it. But he's passing the test either way. The test is: are you going to let me keep Benjamin, or are you going to, But the thing is, it's not really loyalty to Benjamin anyway. It's loyalty to their father, right?
Yep.
That they have. Judah says it, verse 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh.
Or what did he say? We lost somebody, but
Yeah.
Lost Elias for a
Lost,
second.
yeah, Elias.
He'll probably come back. But yeah, he says in verse 20 too. Yeah, his dad, our father, he's gonna die. Or what does he say? Or verse 22. That's it.
That the boy cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die.
Yeah, they give Joseph the whole thing. I'm saying Judah takes complete responsibility for it.
Yes.
And Judah, in his responsibility, even says, my dad will just die if this happens. And so Joseph can see through them here now, and he sees that they're willing to do anything for Benjamin for the sake of his father, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, that seems to be the answer, right? I mean,
hey, he found it.
I found it. And I'm not sure what happened, but I got kicked off and I didn't even realize it because I kept chatting and I was wondering where you guys went.
What? That doesn't seem like.
And they give the whole story. They give the whole story to him about their dad and everything. I notice in verse 28, they go with this lie again. They tell Joseph here, surely he's torn to pieces. So that my father said unto us, you know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me, and I said, surely he's torn to pieces, and I saw him not since, and if you take this one from me. And so they're telling the story, and the story includes the lie that they all accept, that their dad accepts too.
Wow. Right.
Right?
I mean, he's saying that his dad said it. He's not saying that he believes it.
No, I know. But I'm saying the part about what's real doesn't even matter. And it certainly doesn't matter as far as his story that he's telling to this man who is Joseph. It doesn't matter. The point is this kid who was torn to pieces, Dad said that he didn't say, but actually he wasn't torn to pieces because so that's all I'm saying is it's the designation. Joseph is watching this designation of the story, and this is how he's telling it, and he's thinking, I know that didn't happen, and I know that guy was he doesn't ever call him on it. He doesn't say, well, actually, does he? He does. That's kind of what happens here. Did he reveal himself already, or no?
Oh, not
we didn't read that yet.
No.
Yeah, we didn't read that yet.
It'll
But
be in the next
chapter.
chapter.
Right?
Yep.
We're getting there.
Yep.
This whole story is getting to the end of it, and he's not going to send him back with the father to kill his own dad. I mean, he's not going to, he's going to, he has to eventually, he can't refrain, he tries to him. Yeah.
Yes. We can't leave Benjamin behind. Otherwise our father would die, and
it was non-negotiable for them to leave without Benjamin. It's a non-negotiable for them to go back without Benjamin. non-negotiable.
and
And
so
now Joseph sees it.
yeah, and so he's offering not only just to take responsibility for his father, but now he's proving that not just to his father, but to everyone that he's going to make good on it. He's offering to stay behind instead of Benjamin as Joseph's slave.
Right.
He says, I can't stand to see the evil of my come upon my father. Take me.
Yeah, he gives himself in place. He's willing to sell himself into slavery to save his brother. Yeah. I just thought if we have time, maybe David could read us chapter 45. What do you guys think?
Are you? Well, I mean, if you have time, of course. Yeah, I mean, we still have time. I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
well, read it to us.
Okay. All right. Chapter 45 of Genesis. Then Joseph could not control himself before all those who stood by him. He cried, "Make everyone go out from me." So no one stayed with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud so that the Egyptians heard it and the household of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed at his presence. So Joseph said to his brothers, Come near to me, please. And they came near. And he said, I am your brother, Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. Now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life. For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there are yet 5 years in which there will neither be plowing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to keep alive for you many survivors. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh, a lord of all his house, and ruler over all the land of Egypt. Hurry and go up to my father and say to him, Thus says your son Joseph, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near me, you and your children and your children's children, and your flocks, your herds, and all you have. There I will provide for you, for there are yet 5 years of famine to come, so that you and your household and all that you have do not come to poverty. And now your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see, that it is my mouth that speaks to you. You must tell my father of all my honor in Egypt, and of all that you have seen. Hurry and bring my father down here. And he fell upon his brother's Benjamin's neck and wept, and wept. And Benjamin wept upon his neck, and he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them. And after that his brothers talked with him. When the report was heard in Pharaoh's house, Joseph's brothers have come. It pleased Pharaoh and his servants. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, Say to your brothers, do this. Load your beasts and go back to the land of Canaan. Take your father and your households, and come to me, and I will give you the best in the land of Egypt. And you shall eat the fat of the land. And you, Joseph, are commanded to say, Do this. Take wagons from the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Have no concern for your goods, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. The sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the command of Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for the journey. To each and all of them he gave a change of clothes, but to Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 changes of clothes. To his father he sent as follows 10 donkeys loaded with the good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and provision for his father on the journey. Then he sent his brothers away, and as they departed, he said to them, Do not quarrel on the way. So they went up out of Egypt and came to the land of Canaan to their father Jacob. And they told him, Joseph is still alive, and he is ruler over all the land of Egypt. And his heart became numb, for he did not believe them. But when they told him all the words of Joseph which he had said to them, when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die.
I thought that was a great ending to the Bible study tonight. So,
I mean, think of it from Jacob's perspective, because it's like it was like when he's just said it is enough, like even just that type of humble kind of response, and not to mention humble, like it. Think about how relaxed he probably felt, knowing, or not even relaxed, just relieved, like
yeah,
surprised and also relieved that his son Joseph, whom he thought was dead, is in fact alive, and he will go see him, obviously before he dies. But it's funny when like, let me see him before I die. It's like, I mean, yeah, I can see how that could be a little bit of a somber kind of deal, but at the same time, it's probably a little bit more sweet in the bittersweet scheme of things, if you think
yes,
about it that way. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even believe them, but yeah, they had to convince him. And it's funny how they convince him, it's like, did they not even reveal to him all the how it even happened? I don't know. He's
Mhm.
eventually going to figure out how it happened, or are the brothers going to never tell their dad how it happened? I don't know, because they don't say, no, he's alive. We actually sold him into Egypt. They say, look, this is what he said, and he said this,
Right.
and he said this, and he said this, right? Like, it must be Joseph. It's Joseph. He knew us, and he said this, and this. And it's like, and then he says it's enough. I mean, it doesn't say they confess to their father even, so I don't know if they just never
Now,
confess.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Jacob's sons really even had the words to even say something like that, especially because even if they did confess, or if they even were to confess, I'm not sure if they would be too surprised and dismayed, especially when it even said in verse 3, his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed at his presence. They were probably confused. So, like, even if they were to confess, it's like
They
they
were in utter shock.
they were,
Yeah,
yeah,
utter
they
shock.
probably too shocked to even confess. They can't even believe that it's true that he's alive. That he's alive. So,
Yeah, it was just so unbelievable. Yeah,
yeah.
and then he explains everything to him. Joseph does. He
Mhm.
tells him over and over, it's the 2 years. We got 5 years left. I think it's funny. He's the prophet. He's telling them what's happening in the future, right? Got 5 more years
Mhm.
here. And the 2 year number two,
Right.
and God did this. Verse 7. God, here we go again with Joseph and God, right? God sent me before you
Yep.
to preserve my life. And it was you that sent me
Mhm.
here, God. Verse 8. Oh man, it's just over and over. Verse 9, more God. What does he say? Uh, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Tell my dad, yeah, right? Thus says thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord over all Egypt. Come down to me. Yeah. He says, come to the land of Goshen, and then later Pharaoh finds out or whatever and says, oh, give him the best of the land. It's like Joseph already knew that they could come. You know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Joseph Joseph already
Right.
knew what Pharaoh was going to say, and Pharaoh says the same. Yes, come, see, we'll give him Goshen or whatever. It's like, but
Mhm.
Joseph knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, it's just
And
amazing.
I mean,
Joseph is
it's not
amazing.
surprising that Jacob couldn't believe it because, um,
Right.
yeah, Joseph supposedly has been dead for 20 some years, like 22-ish at this point to him anyway. So he's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has it completely settled. His life is about this. His life is about his dead son Joseph and his beloved son Benjamin, and or whatever, right? It's just,
Mm.
yeah. There's no details we're wanting. It doesn't give us any of them. It just tells us, hey, he said, okay, it's enough. I'll see my son before I die.
Mm.
Yep, and then he goes, and yeah. So yeah, for 45, then he could not refrain himself. So after all that stuff, and with Judah sacrificing himself and all of that, he couldn't hold himself back, and so he cried and balls all over him and sends everybody out and terrifies them, like David said. Yeah.
Mm.
Just totally dismayed. Elias, is this microphone working or is it just He's just using the sound effects. Anyway, they all heard him weeping this time. Verse 2. The whole house heard him. He just has absolutely no anger whatsoever. You know? Yeah, we know you're back now. He has absolutely no anger for his brothers at all. You know? You know, Elias? No anger for his brothers.
Anger for his brothers, yes. I was trying to figure out why, and I think I just had to reset my thing, and I've been trying to talk, but
Yeah, we know that you were out. Okay, we know you're having troubles. We know you're having troubles with your thing.
Beep, you're back.
Yep.
I was going to say,
too.
I was going to say from what you guys are talking about earlier, with the story that the brothers would whether they told the story of what actually happened with Joseph or not. Somehow or another, we know Jacob does find out because several chapters later, when Jacob is talking with Joseph, he mentions it to him and says, "Forgive your brothers for what they did to you." So,
Thank you.
this spoiler that does happen later. A couple chapters we got.
Yeah, one way or another, he's gonna find out because he's gonna tell them. Yeah.
So, and maybe not necessarily. I doubt they necessarily sat down and explained everything to him right away, but they may have. We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know. Yeah, I agree. We don't know. We just know that he does tell him to forgive him, which is so funny to me because if there's anybody that needs to be told anything, it seems to be it's the other brothers. But
Yeah.
Joseph has no angry bone in his body. You know, I mean, even all of his trials against them wasn't that bad. He was just testing them. What?
Well, I said apparently, yeah, Joseph doesn't have a mean bone in his body, or
an evil one. Right? But I'm saying
a
don't we
bone
see
that
that
will
from
hold a
his son?
grudge, I should say.
Right? Everything he says to them.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything is good. Everything is so good. He doesn't even blame them at all. I don't think he even says that he forgives them because does he? Because it's like they didn't even do anything wrong almost to him. It's like God sent me here. He even says you didn't send me here. God sent me here, right?
Yeah, and he kind of implies that it's forgiven by saying, "Be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you sold me hither, for God sent me here to preserve life." So, and without actually saying it, he does, in a way, forgive them. And obviously, we do have another spoiler. And he does. They do. This does come up later where they talk about actually making it more official that they've been forgiven. But we'll get to that another time.
Well, thank you for the foreshadowing anyway. But verse 15 as well. He kisses them all. He kisses all of them.
Yes.
And then he slobbers all over his favorite brother, right? Yeah. So but he kissed them all. So right? He kissed all his brothers, right?
Yep.
He just has a real big reunion with his real one, you know, his favorite. It was
his full-blooded brother.
Yeah, his full-blooded brother. But and as much as you see him loving him here, you wonder how the rest of their lives were with Benjamin. Benjamin must have had a good life, even after being favored by his father. Now he's favored by the Lord of Egypt, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
he got a lot of silver and
of his good treatment. I doubt that's the last time that he got a better meal or whatever. It's 5 portions. Now he's going to move in with Joseph in a sense, and he's going to get to live, you know,
verse
happily ever
22.
after. 22.
Yeah, verse 22. Benjamin got 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment, whereas everyone else got some changes of raiment. They didn't get silver too.
Yes, but the fact that they get raiment, I mean, it's like Joseph doesn't have to give them anything, right? He kisses them, he gives them stuff, and yet they still think, you know, they just keep thinking he's going to kill them or whatever. And they even get their father to tell him, you know, isn't that I don't remember if that's the case or not. We'll read it when we get there, Elias, but it's almost like they get their father to say that to Joseph. Tell him to forgive us, you know? But Joseph isn't, he's like, I'll give you guys stuff, you know, and you know, just Benjamin's a favorite. I mean, at the very least, I can't kill you because then I'd be killing all of Benjamin's brothers. You know, you're his brothers. I can't kill you. Yeah. No, Joseph is so godly, man. It's so godly. He wants his dad to see him too. He says it in verse. What was it? Verse 13. Tell him of all my glory. It says in King James. But yeah, tell him of all
Hurry
I
and
got.
bring my father down here.
Yeah, and bring him down. Hurry up! I want my dad to see everything that. Well, you think he would want to have that, right? He's still a son. He
Mhm.
has all of Egypt
Yeah, he's got to show
under
off
his
his
foot.
own boys.
Yeah, yeah, right. His own sons. Yeah, so he needs to show them to his father, right? Yeah. He really wants his dad to see all this stuff, which makes sense. You think he had everything, but no, he didn't have everything. Didn't have his own family yet, and now he's getting them. But now Joseph has about everything once he gets his father. 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely was lauding upon him everything he had. He got 5 times the amount of food that they got, whatever how much they got. He got 5 times the amount, and now he's getting tons of silver and lots of extra clothing.
Which again, nobody put it together at all, right? They're giving all
Yep.
this to Benjamin. He wanted to see Benjamin. Now Benjamin's there. He's weeping. I don't know if they noticed. I don't know if they noticed that he wept. He ran out, right, and washed himself. But if they did, you imagine they might even have seen it because he's talking so nice to him, right? What's this guy
Yeah.
talking to Benjamin for? And then he runs away, cries, comes back. Benjamin gets all this food. I mean, it's just they just were so completely oblivious to anything of this. They just, yeah, it's just so funny. We're never told anything about Benjamin either. We don't know anything what he said or thought about any of it, right? Like when he's caught with the cup or anything.
Yeah, that's true. We don't really get. Excuse me. We don't really get a whole lot from him.
Well, I mean, the fact that he ate all that food and that the guy spoke so kindly to him, right? And now, Benjamin's the one person who knows that he did not take that cup. He knows I didn't take that cup. He knows that because he didn't take it, right? So we don't know if the brothers know. I'm saying it doesn't seem to me that they know, but maybe they know. But the point is, the one person that knows that he didn't take the cup is Benjamin, because it's in his sack, but he knows he didn't take it, right?
Yeah.
So what does he even think? We don't know what he thinks. If he's dismayed, we don't know what he thinks even, right? Like, what's this about? What in the world's going on? I get all this food. I get all this kindness. Now I've got the cup in my sack, but they're taking us back to Egypt. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going on about nothing. Sorry if I am, but just such a wonderful story. Yeah. Joseph, just such a great guy, trusting God the whole time, and his servant, his steward. Best guy and best Bible study in his house or whatever. But his brothers are just clueless. Yeah. But repentant enough, Judah at least, repentant enough, right? To give his life for the boy. Oh, kind of an exhausting and thrilling story, I guess. All that goes on there. Did we lose Elias again?
No, I'm here unless you guys can hear me.
Oh, here you are. Here you are. You are here, yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
Steve.
I see you. I watch you when you're asleep. I know when you've been good. I know when you've been bad.
Who are you, Santa Claus?
Oh, how'd you know?
I can't even imagine, dude.
Oh my!
Oh, dude.
I've once in a while I've always the humor side of me wants to get a Santa suit and dress up, but I don't. I've already got enough on my plate. I don't need another. I don't need more stuff. So
Well, that's true. Yeah.
if I were to do a Santa suit, I'd want to get the Grinch costume with the Santa suit.
Oh well, you have to dress yourself in green makeup and all that. Make your stuff look like Grinch.
Well, I know you can get Grinch costumes. Those hairy kind, like I think the ones that I've seen are based off of Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Don't forget to get a dog that's of the
Yes.
same breed and name it Max.
Yep. Put a little antler on his head.
Yep.
Tie it with some horsehair or whatever he did.
Oh
And,
yeah, and then you complete the look. You complete it then.
Yep. And then get myself a giant sleigh and tie him to it. I've only ever seen the original cartoon Grinch. I haven't seen the others, um, Jim Carrey's or the other ones. I haven't seen those. I know about them, but I've never watched them. So
Jim
I
Carrey's
won't.
rendition was pretty funny, and it was actually kind of a cool take on that Dr. Seuss rendition as well. So I think the one that you saw was a Dr. Seuss cartoon.
Yeah, it
Which
was.
which I actually loved, by the way. It was a really good cartoon, and
Oh
then
yeah.
to see like Jim Carrey's Grinch actually it's so different but I think it's a great homage to the Dr. Seuss original as well. Like
Yeah.
different in a really cool kind of way. It was really nice.
Are we
Nice.
done with the Bible study?
It almost sounds like
Oh, can we close it prayer,
We
maybe?
changed. We
Elias, you gonna
changed.
close it up?
Yeah. Yeah, we changed topics rather drastically. We should probably close it.
yes. Let's close.
All right. Um, Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the study. Thank you for everything that we learned and were able to talk about. And just thank you for your word that you gave us to study. I pray that we would all be able to rest well this night and that we would be prepared for tomorrow's work and whatever everybody has planned. That people would stay warm and stay safe on the roads if they travel, uh, and that you would bless all of us until we meet again next time online, and that we would be able to encourage and edify each other in any ways possible. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.